Yes, welcome to the social corner. I know we talked about a lot of stuff in the topics that we were talking about earlier that have been trending on social media, but as you all saw, we went into deep dives on our thoughts, opinions, takes, and everything happening in those topics. So with these, our social corner, if you are new here, here's a brief little description. It's basically where we talk about different things that we've been seeing on social media that we feel like we want to talk about, but not spend 15, 20 whole minutes talking about it. It's going to be quick few minutes, quick takes on to the next topic. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is Jayden Daniels. If you don't know, he is the quarterback for the Washington Commanders. His mom recently did an interview, right? So her name is Regina Jackson. She's the mother, agent, and business manager of Washington Commanders quarterback Jayden Daniels. She recently addressed public speculations about her protective role in his dating life during an appearance on the Pivot podcast. She clarified that past comments about being weary of them girls made during Daniel's time at LSU was taken out of context and stemmed from a parent's natural concern for a public figure with financial status. She emphasized that she is not stopping her 24-year-old son from dating, stating, "My son can date, he can live freely," but explained that their close relationship means that Daniels values her opinion. She pointed to her qualifications as a certified agent with dual master's degrees in hospital administration and entrepreneurial business, and she said she is helping him prepare for life after football. So Regina has gone viral multiple times, including being seen during what appeared to be a date in Miami, at a wedding, and sitting between Daniels and USC basketball stars Juju Watkins at a game. And despite the attention, she states that she wants to be known as Regina Jackson, not Jayden Daniels' mom. And Daniels himself has acknowledged her protectiveness, saying, "Nothing gets past my mama," right? So I just wanted to show y'all a little clip from the Pivot podcast that we had mentioned.
I listened to you talk about the things you've done for yourself, but also the way you look at parenting. It just sounds like being a good mama to me. But when things become public and you let the outside world start to pick it apart, they're going to be able to critique it and break it down and do whatever they want with it. You know, you were very honest about protecting him. You said predators, also protecting him from women who can be predators. And we've seen that all through sports. We see it after their careers. We see it in business. Being the good woman you are, also raising a daughter, why have you been so diligent about protecting Jayden from the wrong woman?
So first and foremost, I have a meme out there, and it's funny. So I can't laugh. I can only laugh about it. But the whole girls comment was made, first of all, 2 years when he was at LSU. It was a question asked, like, what is your biggest fear? And that should be every parent's biggest fear. That should be, if you're a star athlete and you're a female in WNBA, that should be your biggest fear is, the men or, the women, because you're a public figure and, your dollar amount is associated with your name. So you never know who really is there for you and who's really against you. And our thing is like, I want Jayden to date. I don't want everybody to say I'm putting it on record. My son can date. He can live freely, makes his own decisions. However, the relationship we have, he does value my opinion because, when my kids were little, I did a lot for them. So, and my kids saw that. My father, my background, I worked too hard to allow anybody at any moment to come in and just, take it away. So I have a view of what I feel a good person is. And, but my son is 24 and he does have to go through things and he has to learn on his own. And, he's a great kid and I'm thankful for him. He's, not like some of these other guys, he's really to himself. He's a homebody. He just loves sports. Like he really is. So I'm trying to work on his afterlife after sports because at some point it does end. And I don't want him to just be like, now what do I do? So I want to keep him involved in the world and, have opened up a lot of doors. Like I'm in charge of his foundations. We're trying to build facilities and, back in his hometown that are going to help the youth and things like that. So that's what I'm in charge of on top of his everyday business dealings and, like I said, dealing with creative teams. I'm dealing with the creative side. I'm doing the storybooks and how we're positioning him and, all this other stuff. So it's not just about you guys seeing me out and thinking we're just like hanging, partying.
Hold up. Limitless niggas
So when I saw this, right, I think there was one point when we saw like Juju Watkins and like Jaden Daniels and stuff like that. I have a photo of it right here. When we had saw them at the game together, and then like the next clip, you see that the mom is sitting in between them. I remember the memes that had went viral. Like me and Shayla was sitting there cracking up with one another, and I was like, in my like when I saw that, I was like, I mean, they're technically, I don't think they're there on a date. Like if his mom was already sitting there, I don't think it should be a problem or anything like that, right? So the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because I remember, like I mentioned earlier, it's very easy to see something on social media for 2 seconds and assume that you know the whole narrative, right? So it's like, for me, if you always see me with Shayla and you take videos of every time you see Shayla, you'd be like, dag, like she don't hang out with nobody else but Rebecca. And it's like, that's really not even the case. Like you just happened to catch me and her at that moment. What if her and I just happened to be at the same place, didn't even know it, right? So my whole thing is, I think sometimes we don't like to see healthy relationships between parents and children, especially sometimes when it comes to mothers and sons. There is usually a negative connotation, and sometimes I fault myself because I look at that sometimes when I see like a son so close with his mom, I'm like, the mom gonna be an issue. But it's just like, how you don't know what the dynamic's going to be like. You don't know what that mom actually wants for her son. For her sitting there talking about how she handles this for her son, her children value her opinion and stuff like that. Clearly, they are a close-knit family. So it's very easy for us to sit there and be like, Dad, she always with him. What if he always want her there? You know? And I think for me, I feel like you got to find that happy medium, because before I even watched this interview, I remember there was one point where I was like, Dad, like, do she ever be at home? Why is she always with him? Like, this is why I can't stand mama boys and things like that. And then when I listened to the interview, I'm like, okay, I think differently a little bit. But also I was clocking myself because I'm like, I know when I have a son or when I have sons, I might be like that, right? I might be that parent who seems like they're just too active in their children's lives. But I think also that comes with like people. What was the thing that we mentioned earlier where it basically was like, normalizing the dysfunction. I feel like a lot of times in these households, some of us weren't always with our parents, or we couldn't always be with our parents, or we can't always go to our parents for counseling and stuff like that. So when we do see it happening with other people, it looks weird and awkward to us, you know, or we're just like, that's problematic. I don't like that, you know? So I think it's very easy for us to put our own dysfunction, our family dysfunctions, and try to place those on other people, you know?
Yeah, for me, I have two things. One is that we all have different relationships with our parents. We either had the helicopter parent or the loosey goosey one that lets you be outside till 2 a.m. Girl, my mom would never. But I think as you get older, the relationship that you have with your parents, you need to set the boundaries, right? So I do not think that her mom or like his mom would have all of these, green lights to be the head of his foundation and to do this and to do XYZ unless Jaden allowed it. So for everyone that's clocking the mom, I don't think that's the mom's issue. I think Jaden does in fact want his mom to be leading all of these things. Like, I think if Jaden said, Mom, I don't want you to go to this event with me, she just wouldn't go. And that's, I think as a parent, as kids, like we do that. Like, let's say for me, when I was at home with my mom, I remember like when you live with your parents, you, at least Caribbean parents, I can't speak for every, type of race, but like when you live with your parents, they don't care if you 40, 50, if you under their house is their rules.
Even if you're not under their house, they think they got some type of say.
Right. But it's, you can maneuver it a little bit when you're not living with them. But when you're living with them, is their house, their rules. So now with Jaden is like, he probably saw how hard she worked and how she was always there helping him. And now I feel like also when you're an athlete, and especially him, he had a very successful rookie season. He has a lot of resources now, a lot of money. And I feel like if you don't have the right people in your circle, you can easily mismanage all of those things. So who not better than his mother, who of course, there's different relationships, and there are those odd instances where, the parent uses their kids for their money and for what they have to offer. But like, I think that's more rare. So it's for you to hire somebody that you don't know. I would 1,000% rather have my mom managing my moves. And if people don't like that his mom is out with him all the time, those are boundaries that Jaden has to set, not us as the public.
Right. And I saw a lot of people who were like commenting, like after, like on that clip, they were basically like, girl, go get a man. And it's just like, I just don't understand people, because it's just like, one, some of y'all don't even have kids. Two, even if you have kids, your child is 2 years old. It's just like, and three, half of y'all's children won't get past working a regular little 9 to 5 job. And there's no shade to that, but it's like, they not about to be a quarterback for no team. So it's just like, you have all these opinions, have these think pieces on the dynamic that he has with his mother, and that his mother is too involved in his life. Your parents weren't even involved in your life. Shouldn't you try and change that when you do have children, if you do decide to have children? It's like, y'all keep trying to clock something that don't even need to be clocked. You don't even know how to read a clock. So it's just like, what are you focused on?
Or just like cross that bridge when you get there. I don't know if he's actually dating Juju. I don't think he is. But like, that's like a situation that needs to be between who his future girl is. And y'all can't even be mad, because you do know that there are women out there that will make it their mission to just date an athlete. So his mom saying what she said is so real, because that is a real issue. There are people out there that are literally just seeking or searching to secure their bag, because they know they don't want to work a day in their life, and they just want to get pregnant by an athlete and put you on child support.
Right. And then we sitting there talking about all they want, this baby mama culture. It's like, sometimes some of y'all needed a little guidance. Y'all refuse to get that.
Oh, I'm so sorry, but actually, I'm not sorry. I will always be Jaden mom's. I'm rooting for her. And if people have a problem with it, I think she will do what Jaden accepts. If Jaden doesn't want something, he has to set those standards, not us. Now, the next thing that's happening, dun, 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 child, you would not believe it. Chris Brown is in jail, honey. So a little backstory. I'm sure you guys know who Chris Brown, R&B singer, Rihanna X. Y'all know the deal. So Chris Brown has been denied bail in the UK and will remain in custody until June 13th. Brown was arrested Thursday in England for allegedly hitting someone with a bottle in a London nightclub in 2023, according to the UK Sun. He was reportedly apprehended at a hotel shortly after arriving in the country via private jet. So the Metropolitan Police, the police that arrested him, is based in London, but they reportedly traveled to Manchester in the UK to arrest him after they were tipped off that Chris Brown had arrived. So the gag of all of this is that Brown, the reason why he traveled to the UK is because he was set to embark on his breezybowl tour in celebration of 20 years of his career. The show was scheduled to kick off with a sold-out performance in Amsterdam on June 8th. But keep in mind, now he is going to be locked up until June 13th. So it's looking like, unless something shakes, something moves, this breezybowl not going to kick off June 8th, because he's going to be in jail.
Listen, I know I got my tickets for August. I need to see Bryson Tiller there. I need to see Summer Walker and Chris Brown. Listen, pull up.
Well, y'all gonna have to go help bail him out or something, because it's not.
And also, I saw this meme. It was like, not them clearing his visa just to arrest him, and I was just like.
And I honestly, I mean, listen, I'm a big Rihanna fan. If you know, this is like way back situation. I'm Team Rihanna. I know they were both toxic, whatever, but growing up, I loved him. Down with You. That was my song. With you. And okay. But now I don't really listen to him. I don't know what music he dropped. I don't keep up with him anymore. But I feel like as a team manager or whoever the coordinator of the tour is, here I am struggling to get a job. Whoever the tour manager is, his assistant, how are you going to allow him to travel to the UK without making sure that all of these issues have been cleared?
Honestly, and I'm so glad you said that, because who is your manager, my love? Like, who is your manager? Because first off, you should be aware of all the troubles he currently has, past troubles and everything like that. That's literally, and I know some people are like, oh, well, something slipped through the cracks. Okay, but that's literally your job, to manage my life, to manage and make sure that I stay out of trouble. What were y'all doing? Like,
but this is so major. Like, I feel like if it was a slip in the crack, these are types of situations that, like, if you as a manager or whoever was in charge of these types of things, you need a letter that's signed with a lawyer stamp that it says it is official that I can travel to the UK and be able to perform my tour without any of these legal battles coming to bite me. Because now you are fumbling the bag for several people. The people that paid to go watch him in the UK, the dancers, whoever's a part of the tour, the other art. Like, I just think as a whole, whoever was in charge of making this happen dropped the ball in so many parts and situations. Keep in mind, this was a situation that happened back in 2023.
Y'all should have been settled that in 2024.
But anyways, if you live in the UK and you have a ticket for June 8th, good luck to y'all. We'll see what happens if Chris Brown makes it out in time.
Okay, let us know. So the next thing we're going to talk about, also, let me show y'all his mugshot. I forgot I had that. That's Chris Brown's mugshot. He looked
down bad.
I was like, he look a little mad, but I would be too. Okay. So the next thing we're going to talk about is Tory Lanez, right? So rapper Tory Lanez is currently hospitalized after being stabbed in a California prison. He is in a fair condition after he was allegedly attacked by another inmate in a housing unit. A post on his Instagram account alleges that he was stabbed 14 times, including 7 wounds to his back, 4 to his torso, and 2 to the back of his head. Gosh darn. And 1 to the side of his face. According to the New York Post, the inmate who allegedly stabbed Tory Lanez in prison has been identified as Santiano Castillo. Mm-hmm. And he's allegedly serving life in prison with the possibility of parole. Tory Lanez is currently serving 10 years in jail, right? So before we continue, I want to state exactly what his charges are, because there's always going to be somebody who sits there and was like, he was charged for shooting Meg Thee Stallion, this, that, and the third. He ain't shoot her, free Tory Lanez, yada, 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 right? So Tory Lanez was charged and convicted on 3 felony charges: assault with a semi-automatic firearm, having a loaded unregistered firearm in a vehicle, and discharging a firearm with gross negligence, right? So yes, this case spanned from Meg Thee Stallion, because everybody, anytime this case was just like how we saw with Diddy and Cassie, Halle and DDG, everybody was picking sides, right? And a lot of people are like, Tory Lanez ain't shoot her. Tory Lanez ain't shoot her. The case of Megan Thee Stallion getting shot in the foot was the grand concept of the trial. Mm-hmm. But technically he is in jail for 3 charges that stem from that incident, not specifically shooting Meg Thee Stallion, right? So when people are like, free Tory Lanez, he was already a felon. He should have never been in the possession of a gun, my loves. So he was going to go to jail empty ways. So if you are stuck on stupid, that is why he is in jail. And the other charges that I mentioned, because speaking of Chris Brown, he was quick to post on his story, talk about free Tory Lanez. And honestly, I'm sick of
it. Gives karma. You should have been focused on your 2023 situation. Look at you now. Twitter finger, you was Twitter finger, Instagram fingers. Focus on you and your business. That's why sometimes a lot of people need mirrors to their face. Stop trying to be in other people's business. Clock your own tea first.
Yeah, so the reason why I wanted to mention this is because you got the people who are team Meg Thee Stallion who are like, this is karma, this, that, and the third. And then you got the people who are team Tory Lanez who are like, Meg the Stallion should she basically should crumble, because he would have never got stabbed if he was never in jail. He was going to be in jail anyway. This is exactly why I am stating all this information, right? So my whole thing is this is quick and straight to the point. A lot of these celebrities, I believe Tory Lanez is in general population. I think that a lot of them, because he has been in there for as long as he has as of right now, people think that he's cool, calm, collected. People don't understand prison is all about power, right? When you are in there, there are different hierarchies, and there's people who are in there for life who don't care and will do what they want. I'm already in here. What y'all gonna do next? So that's the main reason why I just wanted to give this quick story, because obviously we talk about current events. This has been trending on social media, so we wanted to talk about this. That's really all I had to add to the situation.
I have nothing to add. I just oh, he got stopped. I said,
people get stopped every day. Exactly.
So, a topic that I saw on my social media, I saw this lady fix her mouth to say the most outrageous thing ever. And I'm gonna give a little quote of it before I play the clip. This lady said, quote, "If you're 200 pounds, you shouldn't be in a Pilates class." And we're gonna play the clip.
If you're 200 pounds, you shouldn't be in a Pilates class. There's no reason why they should allow 200-pound people in a level 2 class. Or you shouldn't be allowed to be a Pilates instructor if you have a gut and you're fat.
Right.
First of all,
right.
And I'm not gonna say the words that I want to, what I want proceeding after. First of all, why are you worried about what other people are doing? It pisses me off. First of all, she thinks she looking real cute because she got little shades and white outfit. God don't like ugly. I don't care if you a bone, a stick. When your energy, when your personality is that ugly, honey, I don't care how fit. You could have a 10-pack. You're ugly. You should never speak like that. And if you want to go to a Pilates class that's only with quote unquote skinny people, then figure out your money situation. Clearly, you not high class enough. You broke, that you can't have your own one-on-one class. What is wrong with people? I think sometimes people let social media get to their head, because how can you say that? You know what I mean? That's the type of stuff that if you really feel that way, you going on social media to say stuff like that, I'm concerned. Because what? It had to be a joke, because I don't think someone what?
They definitely give rage bait. I feel like she was definitely trying to do that rage bait type stuff. God forbid you be a little chunky monkey and you want to lose a little weight in Pilates. God forbid. My whole thing is, right, I feel like we've had this conversation in the past. Whenever there is a plus size person, right, it's always, you need to lose weight, you need to eat healthier, you need to do this, you need to do that. But when you do it, you still get judged. So it's do you want them to better themselves, or do you want them to stay at the same position that they're in? For you to walk into a class, and this is why some people don't like to go to the gym also, because it's just you got people who will sit there, criticize, critique, and say whatever they want when it comes to you trying to sit there and better your life, create healthier habits for yourself. And it's you so worried about me, but you're not losing weight for minding my business. I must be running through your mind all day and you ain't lost a single calorie. That don't make no sense.
It's so triggering. So anyways, I did want to talk about that because that's insane. And whether it was rage bait or not, you don't say stuff like that. The next story is even crazier. Okay. A 23-year-old beauty influencer in Mexico was shot and killed. And it was all caught on TikTok Live. She was on TikTok Live while she was shot and killed. Let me play this little report, because if you guys know, TikTok live stream is a very big thing now. Everybody is live streaming, and the people get hefty amount of money. So this is what happened to the 23-year-old.
A TikTok live stream ended in terror when a 23-year-old beauty influencer was shot dead on camera at her salon in Western Mexico. Valeria Marquez had thousands of followers on social media, where just moments before her death, she showed off a stuffed animal that was delivered to her. Then, in her final few seconds, she is seen looking into the distance right before she is shot dead. Jalisco state authorities said a man entered her salon and fired at her, and she had no vital signs when medics arrived. The suspects have yet to be identified, but the case is being investigated as a suspected femicide. A rampant problem in Mexico, a country that has seen staggering level of violence against women and girls.
So a lot of the other clips that I was seeing, they were saying how like this situation reminded them a little bit of like the Selena thing, because backstory is, according to the videos that I saw, that her friend was like, oh, when are you going to be at your salon? Because somebody wants to deliver something to you and it's expensive. So I need you to be at the salon. Mm-hmm. And she's like, oh, I'm not sure like who's going to send me something. Like what? Like, you know, who would send me an expensive gift? And the friend didn't give any details. She was just like, oh, just tell me what time you're there so I can give X person the time. And so people are now speculating, like, did her friend set her up for this? It's just so mind-blowing. And I know a lot of people, like, live streaming has become a very big thing now. You got Twitch streamers that, you know, you're able to see where all these celebrities are at what time. And I honestly think, like, okay, I get some people love doing that because it builds community. But at some point, we need to realize that not everybody has good intentions, right? Like, there are people that are, you know, have been laid off, are going through very hard times, have no money, are broke, are stuck in a couch, and they are seeing your everyday move. They're seeing the amount of money that you're making. You're going to splurge every other day. And you know what I mean? Like, it's obviously not okay. But while they're stuck at home, sad and depressed, and they're seeing your every move, it is a safety concern. At some point, we need to stop live streaming every single second of our lives, or like these celebrities, because it's just not healthy. And of course, we have to see what ends up happening. But like the fact that this 23-year-old influencer was shot dead while live streaming on TikTok is insanity. It's insane.
I think, to your point, it's like, it's a double-edged sword, because yes, I don't think sometimes, like, I feel like some people post a little too much of their lives, but at the same time, that's what makes them the money, and that's what has grown them the following that they have. But I think also it's like, it's very easy for people to hide their true intentions when it comes to you. People like to sit there and see how you can take them to the top, but they don't want you to stay there with them, right? So it's just like, if this, what, you know, saying that the friend possibly did something like this, like set her up or something like that, if that is true, it's just like, I think, to me, that's what makes the situation even scarier, because it's like, if you are someone who I trust, someone who has shown me that they're willing to be there for me, and then all in all, you really aren't, I think for me, that's what makes the situation even more scarier, because I didn't need to lose my life because you're jealous. Just because you couldn't make it to the top, that has nothing to do with me. Step your cookies up. Like,
also, she was so young, like 23, a whole life ahead of her. Like, oh my God. We continue to see so many young people die. Like, of course, death is sad regardless, but like someone that's just starting to like live.
But it's like dying in ways that they didn't need to die.
Even that, like, literally, she was shot like multiple times. I believe like 2 while you were on live. Like, imagine the amount of people that were on that live stream. So not only like were you shot and killed, but you had thousands of people watching.
And now they're traumatized too.
Oh my God. That is